Munguia looked good. Munguia looked patient. Did what he had to do on Saturday. Looked good doing it. Compared to some other fighters on that same card who were matched to look good but didn't necessarily look good. More on that in later videos, but Munguia looked good. So positives going on with Munguia. He's an exciting fighter. He's a guy who stays in your face. I've said it about other fighters, Boots Ennis recently. If you're not going to get the top fights, or if you're not fighting the top fights, at least stay fighting every 3 or 4 months. Stay in people's faces. Stay mowing these guys down so you can continue to market yourself. Fight in your hometown in front of big crowds. Munguia did all that. Munguia is a guy who fought 20 times in the past 5 years, so he's been one of the most active fighters in boxing, so you got to give him that. And he's exciting. He's knocking guys out. All that's good. 39 fights. He's only 25 years old, turned pro early. So you say the learning curve was a steep one, so needed to have some light touches early, all of that. But the final piece of the puzzle that's missing is he has to step up now. It's to that point. We're there now, where you have to get a top 5, top 10 scalp on your resume. Some kind of way you got to get that guy in the ring with you and other guys in the top of the middleweight division. And it's a dumpster juice division of talented guys who aren't necessarily the most aggressive in trying to pursue their legacy. Charlo, Boo Boo Andrade. We'll see if they move up to 168 for bigger fights, or if they stay there and actually fight each other and mix it up. Golovkin's going to fight Murata, so those two guys are taken for a while. So the options for Munguia at the top of the division are slim pickings, but there are guys in the top 7 and 8 in that division that Munguia can fight and can get in the ring with them. It's time. It's time. We're at the point where this summer we want to see Munguia in there with a big name fighter, and doesn't even have to be a big name, a guy in the top 10. Take that step. That's the step we need to see him take now, because the eye test can be deceptive. It can be very deceptive. To where guys can look great mowing down inferior opposition, but when they step up, you're like, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming from that guy. But Munguia is a guy who we've known he's a fun, exciting fighter this whole time. So even if he loses fights, the fights are going to be there for him. The more vulnerable he looks, the fights will definitely be there for him. But the fans will still be there for him, even if he's losing. He's that style of fighter. So he's a guy who could have when it's all said and done, 4 or 5 losses on his resume, but still get big fights and still have packed crowds because he has that type of style. But the more we watch him, the more he's refining his game, the more he's working behind the jab, the more he's mixing up his punches, going upstairs, downstairs. The combinations are looking better. They're looking tighter. He's not looking as flat-footed and square. A lot of guys square themselves up when they fight on the inside and walk guys down. He's fighting more from that L position, and defense isn't great, but it doesn't need to be. Your offense, when you're that type of fighter, when you're a pressure fighter, your offense can be your defense. But he's sharpening things up. He's sharpening up his skills. And a guy who turned pro at what, 16, 17 years old, like I said, that learning curve was steep, so he's learning it now. He's getting it. He's there. It's time to step up. But it's fun to watch him evolve as a fighter. But if we're being consistent, we need to see him step up and get that top 5, top 10 fighter now and make that move in his career. And I think that's coming. I think that's coming next. I think they get the point. They did the homecoming fight on Saturday, and now I think the bigger fight is coming at middleweight. And I hope he can get that type of guy in the ring with him in this next fight and move on with his career. But the more I watch Munguia, the more I think he's going to be that type of guy who can not only be exciting, but a guy who can be a top 2 or 3 type guy in the division he competes in. But we'll see what y'all think about Munguia.